Sorry about that. I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Inyo, Cree, and the Dakota peoples, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. I'm Marcel Larondo. I'll be chairing. Today, the panel members are Jeff Peach and Richard Whitbread, and our secretary today is Jason Robertson, and our assessor will be Matthew Barakis. We'll be hearing applications for revision of assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we'll limit the discussions to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony. Anyone speaking to the matter must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessment of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decision with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to an application of exemption from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicants may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decisions by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We'll be hearing items 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 on our docket today. Mr. Robertson, please affirm the assessor and the applicant's testimony, please.
Certainly. Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Matthew Stephen Barokis.
Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Henry DuPont.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Matthew, we'll be dealing with the property at 280 River, and it is for value. Can you read it on the record? Read it on the record, please. Or are you sending that paper back on that one, or Henry?
I want to see what Matt has to say first.
Okay, go ahead, Matthew.
Okay, one moment here. Roll number 22-1446, roll number 12031961000 280 River Avenue. 2023 roll, your April 1st, 21 reference state assessed value $1,617,000. 1908 effective year built 1908, 27 suites, no indoor parking, 6 outdoor parking. They've been good handing in their mailers. There's a sale, but it's post reference, so I didn't put any weight on that. Page 3 shows our model income value summary. 27 units, bachelor, 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom and 3 bedroom actually. So there's a few different kinds of units there. Majority of the units being 2 bedroom. Got our modeled workup right here with a 5.85% cap rate. With their other model parameters, generates 1,617,000. Page 4 are our comps for rent. You can see that we're below the comparables of a similar effective year built in the neighborhood. We're at 756. The other ones are higher than that. Didn't make a change in that regard. Page 5, sure you've seen this already before, but I'll go over it quickly. These are cap rate sales that pulled together. I used 3-year stabilized income and expenses with our known sale price. Confirm that it was an arm's length transaction, and you can see that the sales other than 700 St. Mary's range from about 4 3/4 up to 5 3/4. You go to the next page, you see the cap rate chart generated brief here. 5th grouping down, 5th row, you can see that the 20th to 8th percentile is 4.8 to 5.6. So that's in parallel with what I found to be the case, and that's good. That's what we want. So my research corroborates the model's cap rate determinations. And between the 20th and 80th percentile, page 7 is the municipal act excerpts. And then page 8 is the most recent mailer leading up to the reference date in regards to the property. And then there are some pictures at the end of the brief, just showing the inside and the exterior of the brief. So you can see from the inside of the brief, starting the building, the bottom of page 10, you can see that it looks like, well, I mean, look at the kitchen on page 11 and the bathroom on page 12. Not exactly deserving of an effective age, in my opinion. That's why you see 1908. So didn't make any changes to this one, just went with the model. That's my evidence. Thank you.
Henry, you got questions?
No questions, I'll withdraw. And completing the form, so there was no address, no anything on the form you sent, Jason, so it'll take a while for me to complete it. Can I just put the year, the address? I just have to put the roll number and all sorts of things.
Yeah, I will send you a formal.
Oh, you'll resend? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so you're withdrawing this one then? You're
Yes, I
okay?
am.
You're
Yeah.
okay with him withdrawing it? Jason?
Yeah.
Okay. Withdrawn. Let's move on to item number 2, which will be 300 River.
Okay. So let me know when everyone's ready.
Everybody looks ready to me.
Okay. File 22-1574, roll number 12031991000, 300 River Avenue. So we're in the same neighborhood as the last one. 2023 assessment. Assessed value 3,296,000. Classification 20T. 1910 on the actual year build, effective year build 1910. We don't have an effective age on this one either. 29 suites, we don't have any parking on site for the property. Page 2, no problem with mailers coming in, and there's no recent sales on this property. Page 3, income value summary. It's a split between 1 and 2 bedroom. That's 29 in total. Average monthly rent $1,047.19. You can see our model workup is below that line with a modeled cap of 5.95, which, if anything else, unless anything's changed, we don't have a dispute on that. So with our net operating income and the 595 cap, we get the estimated market value $3,296,000. Page 4, these are our rent comparables in the neighborhood. So we're actually slightly above the rent of the properties in the neighborhood. The applicant's income, unless anything's changed, is actually higher than ours. So it doesn't look like we're overstating it. It just looks like maybe I could have picked some better comps than this. Page 5, page 6, these is cap rate stuff that you've seen before that kind of blew through last property, but I'm not going to belabor the point. You understand. Page 7, that's our municipal excerpts. Here we have on page 8, we have our most recent income and expense mailer. So they're reporting 363,701 on the rental income. They're reporting 172,523 on their expenses. If you subtract amortization, property and equipment of 7,627, you get expenses of 164,896. Deducting that from the rental income gives you a net operating income of 198,805. The model net operating income was 196,135. So the most recent mailer is pretty much in line with what the model's cranking out. So didn't make any adjustment. The other mailers follow. And at the end here, starting on page 15, description of the building, what's included in the rents, neighborhood of Osborne Village, Safeway shoppers. And then page 16 shows the pictures that were available online. I didn't inspect this property. I haven't inspected any of the properties on the docket today. So this is just the stuff that was available. Stairwell actually looks quite nice. And so they didn't have any kitchen or bathroom photos. So I don't know the condition or modernization or originality of them, but we don't have an effective age. So looks like we're okay. I didn't make any changes. That's my evidence. Thank you.
Henry, any questions?
Do you have an aerial photo in your report?
Let me see here.
Didn't see one.
I guess I don't have it in this one in particular.
The questionnaires indicate parking income. That's correct.
The first, so page 9, yeah, it indicates a small amount of parking income.
And you show it as having no parking
Right.
on the site. So would you agree that if you use a parking just next door, that it would be proper to deduct it from the overall value?
Yeah, I mean, if we have that, if we're looking at these mailers, what you're saying, I agree with, is we shouldn't assign that parking lot a value and then also add that income value into our modeled valuation if we're looking at site specific. But I mean, looking at the most recent mailer, we're within what, $2-3 grand on the net operating income once you get rid of the amortization of property. So it's kind of like cancels that out. Would
you agree that when you stabilize repair and maintenance, we usually go 3 to 5 years, not 1 year?
Yeah, I just did a quick review. We would, but I mean, it is the most recent year that carries the most weight.
Okay, it's all questions I have.
Richard, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just looking at the photo on the top of page 16, Matthew. You say there's 3 stories to this building. There is a basement, it appears. Are there suites in the basement?
I haven't inspected this property. I'm not sure. I couldn't give you a definite answer.
Thank you. That's the only question I had.
Jeff, any questions?
Yeah, none at this time. Thank you.
Anything in summation, gentlemen? I'm
Oh, I'd like.
Now we're going to let Henry present first.
Okay, that'd be good. That would be good. I would like that. Yeah, so if you could go to the first page, you see the photo. It shows, the photo shows 3 stories, and then they have a bottom story there. So it's 3.5. So there's suites in the basement.
Thank you.
Then the next photo shows they have in the back, they have I guess the rear exit as well as some sunrooms. And they have the parking, and that parking is the property next door. So it's right against the lot. So we're deducting that parking lot off the final value. So we can go to the aerial photo, page 7. So I say there are no stalls on site, but there is 8 outdoor parking stalls on the south abutting lot. And it shows there's no parking at 300 River. We were able to deduct that roll for previous assessment cycles also. Then it shows the assessment of that roll, 251,000 on the next page, page 8. Then we have the map, it shows where it is. So just west of Donald. And before we go anywhere else, we should go to the appendix. So we have the ad from Sussex. So the first page is the exterior. Then the description, mainly the description. It doesn't say it's renovated, it just says original hardwood flooring, hardwood trim, and high ceilings. So they've retained the original or traditional architectural features. Now the pages start on page 22. You can see the hardwood floor, you see the rad. I see the windows, it's painted white. There was likely originally some oak. Now the next photo shows part of the living room, and they show the trim white, but then you see the corridor, they have some wood trim there. So they reclaim some oak finish. And the bedroom is all white painted. And the next photo, page 24, it looks quite nice. You see some real oak there. So they've reclaimed some of the oak. So it's not modernized, they just brought it back to the original. When it was built, that's how it looked. And looked mighty fine then. Then the staircase, page 25. That's the best looking staircase I've seen this year. And most places do not have oak railings and trims because it's too much trouble to refinish oak. They just usually repaint it white. The only oak they have is flooring usually, and that you have to go with a whole machine and remove the top and redo it, resand it. And so it's a major job to retain the oak finish. But they did it with the staircase. So that would be reflected in the rent they're able to get. And I'm glad we got this photo first, because all the other properties after this will look terrible compared to this. Yeah, then we have the rest of the financial statements, etc. I don't know if we need to go through that, but it does show that they're getting some parking income. So we'll go back to page 14 for cap rate. So it's built the pre-1946, and the cap rate we have from our cap rate study 6.1 to 6.6. And that's the cap rate that the assessor had for 2020. And that's what we settled at for the municipal board for 2020 also. For this year, assessor does not have any comparable for pre-1946, neither does Altus. So what I've done, I have a typo there that says built 1959 underneath the table, and that's not right. So it's built 1910. Parking, we say it's inferior, so even with the lot next door is at 20%. Suite size, it's large. GFA, gross floor area is very high, 1328 per suite. So a very large suite. finish, historical finish, hardwood floors, etc. And we agree with the assessor cap rate. 5.95 is below the range, but we agree on the cap rate. So that's not an issue for this one. So then the income approach would be, I have to rotate my view. The spreadsheet on page 16. So line 13, we went with the actual income for 2020. So 6 doesn't show a detail for vacancy, etc. They just show what they received for 2020, which is in line with the prior year where they had some detail. Then that's higher than the city for the effective gross. So that's line 13. Expenses we stabilize normal way. And the only thing that's subjective usually is the repair maintenance. And that repair maintenance we stabilize at 22.93 per suite. We show the years that it has, line 27. 2020 is the lowest tier. It does go up and down, but we'll have that on the next page. So we apply the cap rate. We get the value of 3,059,000, line 35. That's before deducting the parking lot. So the parking lot is 251. So that comes 2808 after we deduct the parking lot. The line 10 shows the parking lot that they had for 2018, 2019. They had 1,300 and 3,700 and income from the parking. It's only 8 stalls. So it's not much, but that's still part of the operation of the property. So the next page is the repair maintenance. So the first 4 items in red are usually this, the capital expenditures. They spend money on the roof, which we don't use in our stabilization. Windows and doors, they spent some money. We didn't use any in our stabilization. Parking lot, we allow repairs. We don't allow replacement. So here we allow a small amount, some 37. So the flooring replacement, where the 3 years that we have the details, is 287, which is low compared to the 500 for the 8-year cycle. Appliance replacement is very low, $49 versus $225 for an 8-year cycle. So they're not spending too much on appliance replacement and maybe half of normal for flooring. Painting is relatively high. It's almost at the maximum. So they maintained it well with the painting and the varnish where they have to. And that's reflected in the rent. Counters and cupboards, they had a little bit in 1 year. So it's very low. So I don't think they modernized there. So for electrical plumbing, we allowed 50% of those years. And so that comes to 152 and 155, 164 per suite. And for building exterior, they had a high year, 45,000. We excluded that year. Then they have some remaining R&M. Then at the bottom, it shows how much they spent per suite per year. And 2020 was the lowest year. They had no detail for what they have, but we stabilized each individual item looking back 5 years. That comes to 2293. And that's what we plugged in our previous page to get our value. So that's my report. Thank you.
Matthew, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Richard, any questions?
Just one question, Henry. I don't think I quite understand how you include the revenue from the parking, but then you deduct the value of the land for the parking for that separate roll number. Can you just explain that to me a little bit clearer?
Yeah, it's something we've been doing for years, decades. The assessor also agrees with that, because what we're doing is we're doing evaluation, the income stream, the revenue and expenses of the parking, because it's part of the total operation. So when we get a value of 2,059,000, that's for the total package, the apartment and the parking. And therefore we deduct the parking lot to get the value of the apartment itself. That's a standard procedure that's accepted by the assessment department also.
So leaving the income and the expenses in.
Yeah, because it's necessary for their operation or as part is combined with the operation.
Thank you very much. No further questions.
Jeff, any questions?
I have none. Thank you for the presentation.
Gentlemen, anything in summation? Matthew?
No, thank you.
Henry?
No, thank you.
Okay, that'll conclude that matter. And we'll move on to item number 3. And that'll be at 390 River, correct?
Yes.
Number 3. Let's get it up first here. Are you ready, gentlemen?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yes.
Okay, let's go, Matthew.
Okay.
390 River. And this is on value, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
I know.
I am going to ask every time.
File 22-1575, roll number 12032055000, 390 River. The same area as we were in for the last one. 2023 assessment, assessed value 1,409,000. 1910, no effective year built on it. 16 suites, no parking on this one either. Page 2, they're always handing mailers in, and there's an old sale. It's not, I didn't look into it, it's just too old. Page 3, model income value, 14 one bedroom, 2 bedrooms, 16 total units, average monthly rent per unit, 818.88. Here's our modeled workup with a 5 3/4 cap and the 46.77 expense ratio, 1.409 or 88,000 a suite roughly. And comparables here are on page 4. So at the bottom end of the range, similar in age, mostly 1 bedroom. The other ones are a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom units as well. You can see the gross floor area is smaller on the subject, so it does make sense that it falls at the lower end. I think we're similar, glancing at it, I think we're pretty similar in regards to the income on this one anyway. Cap rate around 5 and 6 again. Page 8 shows the picture of the exterior from Google Street View. And then we got the mailers that they submitted to us afterwards. So just use the model workup on this one. That's my evidence. Thank you.
Henry, any questions?
No questions.
Richard, any questions?
I have none, thank you.
Jeff, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Just rocking here. On with your presentation, please, Henry.
I was looking at the withdrawal form. So what property are we doing?
We're doing 390 River. And it's the third one on the agenda.
Yeah, I never get the agenda, so I don't know. Get 390 River. Okay, so the first page shows a photo. They're all older properties, well, most of them today. Then we show the back with the fire escape. So there's wooden fire escape for a second exit. It's high maintenance and it's a fire hazard. Then the aerial photo would be page 8. No parking. And then the appendix what we got is from Sussex, the photo with the ad. They don't say very much except traditional architectural features, hardwood flooring, hardwood trim, etc. Building amenities, they don't say anything about renovations, and they don't show any photos. So we'll go to the cap rate section. The assessor, I believe, is 5.75. And we're at 6.35, which is the middle of the cap rates that we have for pre-1946, 6.1 to 6.66. We're going halfway on that. So under COMEX, we're saying built 1911, and parking is zero parking. Conditions inferior, low flooring, and appliance repair maintenance, low rents, wooden fire escape. So it's part of the income approach. You'll see that it has the low rents and the low repair maintenance. So the next page, 16 is the spreadsheet.
Got a different cap rate.
Okay. I meant to put 635. I went halfway, and I guess I 69991 divided by 6611147, and what we see first page 1147. Okay, so I'll go with 6.1 cap rate. Now the line 3, you'll see that the rent is getting $784 per suite, which is low rents. Built 1911, mind you, but it's all 14 one bedroom and two bedrooms. So they're not getting the high rents, mainly due to conditions. So we got low rents, so that speaks to the condition of the property. They have some discounts in the remarks on the right. They say the caretaker is 91.96, so it's a rent reduction, and it's $75.90 for tenant discounts. So Sussex usually has some of the caretaker deduction when they have the discounts. We stabilize everything as per normal. Then we have the repair maintenance. We stabilize in 1626. And that's on the next page, page 17. So we'll show the first 4 lines in red. There's very little in CapEx. I have a little bit on the roof. Flooring replacement, 125 per suite. That's the 5-year average, which is low compared to the 500 maximum. Appliance is also low, $77 versus $225. Painting is not bad, $187. Counters and cupboards is also very low. So we stabilize at each individual item. They're all at the 5-year average. That comes to 16 to 26 per suite. That's what we put above, so that the previous page. So we have similar effective gross income, line 13, where we have higher expenses, about 10,000 higher. So we end up with lower NOI. And we go 6.1% on the cap rate, even though I think it should be probably 6.35, because of low repair maintenance and low rents. That's not in good condition. That's my report. Thank you.
Matthew, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Jeff, do you have any questions?
I have none, thanks.
Okay. Richard, any questions?
I have none, thank you.
And I have none, so we'll move. Gentlemen, anything in summation on the property?
Okay, thank you.
You're good? Henry?
I'm good. No, thanks.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the 4th one now, which will be at 393 River. One minute. Matthew, when you're ready.
Okay. File number 22-1576, roll number 12032454000, 393 River. Value on this one for 2023, 1,824,000. This one's 1928, 22 suites, 4 outdoor parking spots, 1 building, 3 stories. Next page, mailers good coming in, no applicable recent sales. We have our on page 3 shows it's 22 1-bedroom units, model rents $795 and change. So it's got a 5.8 modeled cap. Estimated market value $1,824,000, 82,909 per suite, 47.95 expense ratio. Rent comparables here. So we're below the range again. These are the same rent comparables as the last properties. Capitalization rate evidence is the same. This will act exits are the same as well. Page 8 shows just what I was able to pull off the internet in regards to its description. General area is the same. I'm sure everyone's familiar with that. And then we have the mailers that they submitted to the city. And we're just a little bit off the NOI from each other. That's my evidence.
Henry, any questions?
No questions.
Richard, any questions?
I have none, thank you.
Jeff, any questions?
None, thanks.
And I've got no questions. On to your presentation, Henry.
Okay, 393 River.
We're moving too fast for you, eh?
I'm still signing that withdrawal form 280 River. 393. Okay, so
Take your time.
oh, there it is. Okay, so the photos shows older building. There all are today. Then we show the rear. The lot in the aerial photo shows there's a little bit of land on the right side of the photo, but you see the little gate there, and they don't have parking on the site, but they do have parking income, which I believe is from the property at 395 River next door. So it says under comments, no rear side parking, uses parking at 395 River, also under same management. So what I did this one, I just deleted the do not stabilize any parking income because we're not deducting because it's part of somebody else's lot. So the appendix, Sussex ad, page 20, just says again, original architectural features such hardwood flooring, etc. So they don't say anything about any renovations, so they're just keeping the characteristics. So the aerial photo on page 8. So you see there, on the left is there's some shading there, so they have some lot area there, but there's no parking there. They use parking 395 River immediately west, also under the same management. So there's property just next to it, and they have a parking lot west of that. So they use a few stalls from there. And then we have the map. So then if we go to the income approach spreadsheet, but before we do that, we have the cap rate, page 14. So parking gets 0, inferior condition for low flooring, appliance replacement, repair maintenance, low rents, going with 6.35% cap rate. And the spreadsheet I actually used 6.35. So the spreadsheet, page 16, we got the 5 years. We stabilized at the line 3 at 2020, which is 210, which is 797 per suite. The assessor at about the same rent, but nevertheless, it's still low rents. They're all 1 bedroom, and above it shows the GFA per suite is 937, so it's a fair size. It's a good size. So the reason they have low rents because it's lower condition. And the line 10, it has some parking there. It's either about 2,500, and we did not allow any parking income because that belongs to the property next door. But nevertheless, line 13, we're higher than the city. We're 212s. This is assessors at 203. We stabilize expenses as normal procedure. Repair maintenance, we stabilize at 1325 per suite, which is on the low side. Cap rate 6.35, and the repair maintenance is on the next page, page 17. And it shows what they spent. So the capex, the first 4 lines is very little. They have some roof repairs, which we allowed. Flooring replacement is only $44 per suite. Appliance replacement is only 72 per suite versus the maximum shown there. Painting is about only half of maximum, and counters and cupboards is very low. We excluded the HVAC for 2018, which was 101,000. So then when we stabilize each individual item, it comes up 1325. And that's what we have plugged in the previous page. So the value comes to 1,567,000. Thank you.
Matthew, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just 2 quick questions. Were you able to inspect the inside of this property?
No, it was not.
And then just in your determination in regards to concluding that it's inferior condition and cap rate, did you put any weight on the 100 grand they spent on HVAC and mechanical in 2018?
No, that does not increase the value. It's something they have to do.
Okay, those are my questions.
Richard, any questions?
I have none, thank you.
Jeff, any questions?
I don't. Thank you.
And I have no questions. We're going to move on to item number 6 next, which will be 21 Mayfair Place.
Get it open.
My computer's a little slow tonight, I'm sorry. When you are ready.
Okay, just pulling it up here.
Yeah.
Okay, file number 22-2765. Roll number 1203-2370-100, 21 in Mayfair Place. Assessed value 11,669,000. Built in 1960, effective year build 1970, 90 suites, 20 indoor, 36 outdoor parking. Page 2, they hand their mailers in, and there's no recent sales that are applicable to the value we're talking about today. Next page, page 3, 90 suites, decently even split between 1 and 2 bedroom units. Average monthly rent per unit is $1,195. So it's got a 6 cap on it, which I believe is undisputed, and with a net operating income of 700,130. We are coming in at 11,668,000, rounding up to 11,669,000. Page 4 is rent comparables. You can see that we're in the range of the rent comparables in the surrounding area. They are, again, mostly splits of 1 and 2 bedroom units, the exception being comparable 4, which is 2 and 3 bedroom units. So we're right in the ballpark. Capitalization rate evidence, page 5 and 6. Municipal Act excerpts, and then we've got our page 8, showing the description. Property 21 Mayfair Place is completely renovated high-rise situated on the Assiniboine River. Modern lighting, flooring, upgraded bathrooms, open concept kitchen. So new fresh air makeup system, you can read it. They've done by their own description a bunch of work. There's a picture of the outside. Page 9, you can see the interior actually looks quite nice in my opinion, in terms of the open concept and the floor anyway. So they've done some upgrading. So that's where the effective age is coming from. Also on page 13, you can see there's another style whereby they've got white countertops and it's like a different floor. But also, I mean, also upgraded. It's pretty nice actually. Bathroom, etc. And then we got the permit for the interior alterations on page 17. I think that's, so the declared value is 2.2 million on the or on the interior alteration. So they've done a bunch of work, and that's why it's an effective age. So model valuation on this, that's my evidence. Thank you.
Henry, questions?
No questions.
Richard, any questions?
I have none, thank you.
Jeff, any questions?
Yeah, just a quick one, and I hate to ask it because it seems the cap is agreed to, but why, in your estimation, has the model put this cap rate beyond the 80th percentile when I look at the renovations and the existing accoutrements? Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a very good question. If I was assigning a cap rate to this, I'd probably be looking lower. But again, that's what the model did assign to it. So I'm not gonna shave it down or anything. I think that perhaps upon closer inspection, it might warrant a lower cap rate.
Okay, thanks. I have no other questions.
When the pictures, did you say they were part of their advertising?
Yes.
Okay. The one picture on page 13, the one that you said was beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the penthouse suite, correct?
It sure looks like it could be.
Do you have you seen the suites that are not up in the penthouse?
Well, I believe. Well, I mean, I haven't inspected it, but I mean, if you look at page 9, that's a much smaller kitchen.
Yeah.
That looks
Correct.
more, I guess, typical. But again, I haven't inspected this property or any other property, so I can't comment on it specifically.
Yeah, on your page 9, that's a realistic picture of most of the units.
I haven't been there, so I can't really confirm or deny.
And the parking is in the rear on this one, is it not? Along the river, the parking lot?
Let me pull up picture. Maybe, you know what, I've got Henry's brief open, so maybe I can, he's got a picture. Yes. Let's see here. Yes, that's correct. It looks like there's some parking in the front. It's kind of like a weird square with an extra piece on it. So there's some in the back and then there's some in the front as well. You'll see a picture when he goes through his brief that's going to clarify that for you.
Okay, when you look at the building, did they, on the permits, it was all interior and HVAC that was done. There was no exterior work done on the building, was there?
Oh, one moment. Let me get my brief back up here. I lost it. So I gotta go back to the permits. It says replacement of windows.
Yeah.
Mechanical, electrical, plumbing, cosmetic upgrades. So I guess windows, that would be both interior and exterior.
Now, the penthouse, do you know how many penthouse units there are in this tower?
I do not.
Okay, we'll see what Henry knows about it. I've got no further questions, and the gentleman didn't. So, Henry, on with your presentation, please. Henry,
Yeah.
you're still signing the papers, right?
Yeah, I know. For a third time. Yeah, we get the photo of the exterior. Still looks like an old property. No, I had the same photos as Matt, and I believe I didn't put as many photos as he did. They were starting to be repeating themselves, so I didn't put all the photos. So my appendix, I don't think I have anything more to add. I know they did a major renovation to this property. Exactly what they did, I'm not sure, but the photos indicate they redid a whole bunch. I guess maybe not the exterior and not too much of the HVAC, but nevertheless, it's a renovated property. So we show it. The aerial photo is shown there. It's on the river. And then the income approach cap rate, we don't dispute the cap rate. The parking is inferior at 62%. Condition, we say it's renovated. But the 9 years ago, but it's near the life expectancy of the flooring and appliances. So that if you buy this property, you will know that the expenses will be going up for repair maintenance. Page 15, the revenue and expense. So I guess we dispute the net income, not the cap rate. So therefore the income stream is important. We're about 50,000 less than the assessor. So we're using the actual potential gross income. They're getting 1,100 per suite, which is relatively high, mainly because it has been renovated. And the line 13, we're 1,202 versus yesterday 1,249. Expenses line 31, we're 549,000, which is exactly the same as the assessor, within a few $100. So that most of the differences in the AGI. That's what we show line 33. Under remarks, it says renovated 9 years ago. The next page, page 16, is the repair maintenance. So it shows some of the items they're spending there. So they're still spending money on the roof So they spent a large amount of the roof in 2021 or the year ending April 2021, so 2020. So they had not done that, and they still did the 129,000 back in 2017. And they're still replacing windows and doors on a gradual basis. We allowed that, and we allowed for repair of the parkade. So they're still repairing that. So they likely did not do that. Flooring replacement. So they're replacing the floors already. So back in 2016, they had 15,000. So they're starting to replace the flooring again. But it's still low. It's $136 per suite versus the maximum of 500. And appliance replacement is they're still doing it every year, but a very low amount, $30 per suite versus $225. The painting is high. The painting we stabilized the maximum 225,000, which is 62% of actual. So they're still spending a lot of money on the painting, and that's likely due to turnover. Upon turnover, to repaint the suites. And so they spent 12,000 more than what we stabilized at. And the rest of the items, they spent a little more high amount plumbing 1 year, which we excluded. HVAC slightly higher in 2018, which we excluded. And we excluded building exterior 7,600, which is relatively small in relation to the whole thing, but we excluded that in our average. So our stabilized repair maintenance at 1438, which is relatively low for high rents are getting, and the fact that they have low flooring and appliance replacement, which will be increasing substantially in the near future. So back to the previous page, after we stabilized the net income, we're 48,000 less than the assessor. The same cap rate, we're value 10,878,000. And that's my report. Thank you.
Rich, Matthew?
Yeah, just a couple questions on this one. Just on page, I guess we'll start on page 15. I saw it like the 4-year average vacancy I had at 1.6, pretty consistently in between the 1 and 2.5 area. Why did you boost it up to 3.2?
Well, I boosted it to the market vacancy, same vacancy as you, so we don't dispute. So if you're buying this property on a long-term basis, you don't expect that it will have the same vacancy. That will be going towards market vacancy.
Okay. And then just going back to page 13, it says here on your chart that a high-rise 1960 to 1979 ought to get a 5.5 cap, but you opted to go with 6. Why did you do that? Was that just to get a lower value, or?
To be agreeable with you, first part. And the second part, because it does have some inferior features. The parking is only 62%, and the repair maintenance is low because it's been renovated 9 years ago, and it will be increased. So the repair maintenance is not sustainable, and that's a risk. If you're a buyer, your risk is that your expenses is going to go up due to flooring and appliances coming to the end of their life.
Okay. So, so just for instance, I just calculated, would you agree that if you used your net operating income of 652, 684 and use the 5.5 cap, the valuation would be 11,867,000 rounded, which is just like what we have it?
You asked me doing a match, or you're just making
I'm just asking if, would you agree that's the case? I just did the math.
Yeah, it comes to about 11,800,000.
Okay. Those are my questions. Thank you.
Jeff, do you have any questions?
You're muted, Jeff.
Apologies. I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Richard, do you have any questions?
No, I have none, thanks.
Okay, when were these permits taken out? Henry, are you aware? Is it, the rentals were done 9 years ago
2011.
to 2011?
Yeah. They've been our clients for years and years. I
Yeah.
look back in all the files, and I probably did when they did this report, and that's why I put down 2011.
Were all the suites done at that time, or was it just a number of them?
I believe all were done. I'm going with memory, but I believe this is one of the properties that went dark. They actually evicted the tenants and they renovated the whole property.
Interior.
Well, all the suites, the interiors, right? So they still had to do parking lots and roofs and whatever, but
Cap rate, you went 6%. Okay, explain to me the NOI again. You said that your NOI, because the city's expenses were at 44%, yours came in at 45.7, correct? Is that what I'm seeing here? Because you had the same, where you were up a little higher than he was. He was at 549,432, and you were at 549,743.
so we're about 48,000 less in effective gross income. Our expenses are.
Where do you see that?
Line 13. 1202 is our stabilized EGI, and the city is at 1249 or 1250 rounded.
Yeah.
And our line 31, we have virtually the same expenses. So the difference in the net income is all in the EGI.
So in the EGI on top. Okay. 1,249. Okay.
And our vacancy is 10,000 more than actual, but the difference with the NOI with the city is about 50,000.
Because your rents were lower, correct? Your income?
Yeah, the line 3 were 1,100, and the assessor was 1,195.
Yeah. Okay.
Before vacancy, parking, etc.
Yeah. I'm good. Anything in summation, gentlemen?
No, thanks.
No? Henry?
I do. So the assessor's saying something that we should maybe have a lower cap rate, but we're not disputing the cap rate. The assessor has had high cap rates for a lot of high rises that we've come here. 5.75 to 6% is quite normal for a lot of the high rises. And we've accepted a lot of their cap rates at the board. And I don't think it's right for the assessor to back off from their own cap rate. Thank you.
Okay. Matthew, well, you said you didn't have anything. Okay, so let's move on to the next property. That'll conclude that one. We're going to move to number 7, which is 650 Stratford. Stafford? Stafford. Stratford.
One moment, just let me get this open here.
Oh, it's okay. I haven't opened mine yet either. Oh, come on. Pardon me. Just kind of. Can we take a few minute break, guys? I got a problem I got to deal with here on my computer. Thank you. Call the meeting back to order. We'll be dealing with 650 Stafford, Matthew.
Okay, sounds good.
And when you're ready.
Thank you. File number 22-3238, roll number 12012622200 650 Stafford Street. It's an apartment, 1 building, 2 stories. 1968 effective year build 1973. 26 suites, 20 outdoor parking spots. Page 2 shows the request for income information. They've always handed in their income information. It says here, subject sale history, no sales history for the subject property. This one actually did sell via share sale. This one might seem familiar to some of you on the board. It was in the Altus 2018 cap rate study. So it went for a sale price of $2,421,681, but it was a share sale. So it didn't go through land titles, hence why it doesn't show up in this section right here. That was back in 2014, December 2014. So a while ago. There were some renos to the exterior wall, windows and boilers, but not the suites prior to the sale. And then the suites were renovated after the property was purchased. I have some permits later on in my report that'll give you some dates and amounts for that. Page 3, income value summary. We're pretty much the same, just for the purpose of saving time. And net operating income, we're less than $2,000 apart on a net operating income that's in the $183,000 range. So I'm not going to belabor this point. 22 one bedroom, 6 2 bedroom, 28 units total. We got a 5 cap on it. Rent comparables, page 4, and our cap stuff is on 5 and 6. So page 8, it's the 618,000 declared construction value on the interior renovations, refresh to the block, new kitchen cabinets, bulkhead enclosures, flooring, corridors, painting throughout, cosmetic, electrical outlets, light fixtures and switches were done. Next page, page 9, shows exterior alterations, again prior to the share sale, windows, insulation, stucco, ventilation upgrade to the tune of $210,000. So it's been renovated quite extensively. I actually was in this property in about 2017. So I'm somewhat familiar with it. So somewhat of a memory from then. Upgraded kitchens, new cabinets, countertops. You can review that afterwards. And then there's just some pictures taken from the promotional material online. So you see the outside, the inside, etc. Hence the effective age. It comes down to cap on this one. That's my evidence. Thank you.
Henry, any questions?
Your photos, starting at page 11. It says oak parquet floors. Would you agree that's an old type of flooring?
Yes, it's an old style of flooring.
And at page 11, the cabinets, they're very, very plain. Would you agree that's also kind of basic finish?
Yeah, they don't have any sort of, I don't know what the word is, wainscoting or something to them. They're pretty simple design, I'd say. No argument there.
So when you inspected, that's what you recall, similar type of finish?
Yeah, from my memory, this is what the units look like.
And the bedroom is also oak parquet flooring in one of your photos. That's all the questions I have.
Richard, any questions?
Just a minor clarification. On page 1 of your brief, you have 26 suites, but on page 3, you show us 28.
Oh.
Is that a typo somewhere, maybe?
Well, let me check the system what we have on the form in which the rents are pulled from. I don't know. This is like an automatically generated brief, so I actually didn't type this up, that section of it anyway. So let me just see here.
You'll actually find when we get to the applicants.
Yeah, he has
He's
26.
got a whole different configuration of suites. 26 is his total, but
He's got 26, and then we have, it says we have 28, so that would require some clarification on that.
You just show 1 and 2 bedroom suites, right?
Yeah,
Okay, we can clarify maybe when we get to the applicant.
yeah.
No further questions.
Jeff, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
And I've got no questions. Henry, on with your presentation, please.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to get to some of the questionnaires we have because there is a difference. The owner is declaring 28 suites and the assessor saying 26. So part of my brief says 26 and the other part says 28, I believe. So yeah, it's, we just copied the one page of the description, which is our page 28. The Adobe page numbers 28. Yeah, 28. So the owner is declaring 22 one bedroom and 6 2 bedrooms.
So page 1 of your brief must be incorrect then.
Yes, I maybe when they did the renovation, they changed the suite count. I'm not sure. So most of the time we agree with the assessor's suite counts, but this time it's the owner saying differently.
Yeah, I saw there's a permit. They added 2 new suites.
Oh, they did, eh?
During the renos, so it's just a bit of, I don't know why it says 26 and 20, but 28 is the correct.
28,
amount.
okay. Yeah, that makes a difference.
Yeah. Okay.
Henry, your configuration is totally wonky. 8 bachelor, 11 one bedroom, 6 2 bedroom, and a 3 bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
So that must be incorrect. Okay.
That's yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No. That's when there's problems like that, we should deal with them. Yeah. Yeah. That's totally incorrect. No, the spreadsheet that I have, I hope it's more correct. Yeah, it's still wrong. 8, 11, 6. Maybe they changed the suite configuration in the past, but they now show 22 one bedroom and 6 2. So yeah, I would say mine is wrong. And so Matt, you show what you show for 22 one bedroom and 6 2 bedroom. So you do show 28. Okay. I would agree with Matt what he has at 28, which matches the questionnaires. So I can go with the rest of my brief now.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we show the first page, the photo of the exterior. So they did some of the exterior. If I recall, they put the insulation on it, then they recladded it. And that's the rear parking lot. The second photo. Then we have the aerial photo following, shows the parking in the back and the map. So like Matt said, it's a cap rate only. So I'll have to give you the cap rate report this time. And Matt will have to give me his rebuttal and I'll have to give my rebuttal to his. So we'll actually discuss cap rate this time.
Okay, go ahead.
So page 14. So some of the conditions or factors are right, some are wrong. I say the suite mix is inferior. That's wrong because I got that from somewhere else. But the finish is, we went to the photos. It was simple old parquet floors and versus modern vinyl plank and simple cabinetry. And we see there's also a basement suite. So if you see the first photo, the basement is just half sticking out. So the cap rate we have for that age group, 1960, 1998, it's 5.5%. So that's our normal cap rate. So this property has been renovated, but it's still simple type renovations, inferior parking. So we're saying there's no premium, the positive and negative factors balance. So then the spreadsheet itself, page 16. I guess we don't need to spend too much time on that. But we do have line 13, we have less EGI than the city. Repair and maintenance, we got 1478 per suite, which is relatively low. But the line 33 NOI were virtually the same, just slightly lower, a couple thousand lower. So it's mainly cap rate. Other remarks is first rentals were before for installation of exterior walls, windows, doors, boiler, but not the suites. The property was renovated a second time after December 2014, including the suites. So that was 6 years prior. Then the repairments is shown there on the next page. So some extraordinary repairs, not that much. In 2016, it's been 68,000. Flooring replacement is lower, 240 per suite. Appliance is very low, $8 per suite. Painting is also very low, 68 per suite. So these will be increasing in the future. So the low repair maintenance is not sustainable. So it's part of the cap rate to consider. So I'm sure it's been renovated, but the life expectancy is coming up. They got low repair maintenance. The appendix, we have the page 20, the ad from Towers. It says renovated security entrance, surface parking. They advertised the 1 bedrooms there, 22 by 30, which is 660 square feet, small rooms. So let me rotate. So they have a master bedroom is only 9 feet 6 inches wide, so they're not very big. Dining room is only 8 feet wide by 10. So it's relatively small. Kitchen is a walk-through kitchen, but it's very small. It's only 8 feet by 6 feet. And the bathroom is very narrow. It's only 4 feet and 11 feet wide. So they're renovated, but it's still quite small. So we show the photos. We have some comments. Parquet floor, simple cabinets. The bedroom is shown there. You see, it looks relatively small. Bathroom is simple, also simple finish. Page 24, and the questionnaires that page 28. That's one shows 22 1 bedroom and 6 2 bedroom. So that would be my report, except for the cap rate study.
Okay, let's deal with questions on this, then we'll go to the cap rate study, okay?
Yes.
Any questions, Matthew?
Let me see here. Just on page 16. Again, 3-year average vacancy is 1.9. You more than doubled it. Why you didn't want to go with 1.9 vacancy?
No. I went with the market, so I don't dispute your market. And going forward, then you can't expect it to be at the 1.9. You would be looking at the market.
So I guess with that 1.9 vacancy versus the market at 4.2, meaning that there's stronger than market demand for this property?
No, it's not that low. That's what they're getting. They have a lot of discounts. That's because the rent control would allow them to charge more, and then so they vary the discount as to what the market will accept.
Okay, and then just in regards to the lower than market vacancy and better than market demand on the property, did you factor that all in your cap rate determination?
We rarely use vacancy as a cap rate factor. That when they're higher than normal, we don't say we'll use the 5 or 8% vacancy as well as cap rate. So we don't adjust. We just don't double count on the vacancy and count it again on the cap rate.
Okay. Well, the rest of my questions are going to be on cap, so I'll just wait till after the presentation.
And you're going to do a rebuttal on his cap rate study, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Henry,
I'll be quick.
let's hold on. Richard, you got any questions on this part?
I don't, thank you.
Jeff, do you have any questions on this part?
I do. Sorry, I'm just a bit confused, and I just want to clarify. So we've agreed that there are 28 suites.
Yes.
And so the 2 suites that you discussed that have been added through the renovation occurred prior to the reference period?
On or about 2014. So the rents reflect the actual number of suites.
Okay, you've sort of anticipated my next question, because on your page 16, when I do the math on the number of suites there, I see 26 total. Are we to assume that all the revenue has been captured? So in other words, the 2 additional suites, the revenue is in the potential gross rents line?
Yes, yeah, I go with the actual site-specific revenue and expense, so that my error on the number of suites does not affect the income stream. It would affect the rent per suite, so that figure would be wrong, but the actual rent and revenues or expenses would be correct.
Right. So I guess as you just indicated on your page 17, where it still indicates 26 suites, if we're looking at things on a per suite basis, we just need to recalculate on 28 suites.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I have no other questions. Thank you.
On with your rebuttal, please. Not your rebuttal. On with your cap rate study, please. Henry?
Okay. So if you all have the cap rate study,
Mhm.
Yeah, it's here.
yeah, it says 162 pages. So we have the 10 cap rates. We have the financial statements and rent rolls and whatever we require to back up all the support data. We have the calculations, the spreadsheet, the income approach, like we do for subject properties. So we show how we arrived at cap rates on all 10. Now, what is new here, this version R7, is the last 2 pages. So if you go to page 161 and 162, so we can skip the previous pages.
I got the wrong page up. Hold on. I got to find the right page. I'm sorry. It's on the rebuttal on top of the page. Is that correct?
Now, in my cap rate study,
Jason, where do I find that his cap rate study here?
Cap rate study should be listed as item 0 on
00R7.
00R7 apartment cap rate study. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you. You go to which page now, Henry? You said page
161.
161, all the way to the bottom. I am there now. Everybody there?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead, Henry. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we have some versions of the cap rate because rebuttal and new evidence coming in, and now we're the seventh version, and the seventh version we added the assessor's rebuttal that they've given out recently, and they go with our cap rates, and then they show what they calculated the cap rate. So in the green section, they show the city's cap rate. So the 2390 McPhillips is shown. Altus cap rate was 5.59, and the city is 4.79. And then the next one at 555 Corydon, we are 5.73, and the city is at 5.74. So we agree on that. 677 Maryland, we're 5.66. The assessors at 5.5, so we virtually agree on that. 210 St. Mary's, they recalculated 5.71. We're a bit higher, but that will still supports our cap rate, our position at the end. And then the 512 Balmoral, they say it's unusable because the owner said that they did not rely on the income approach or income when they bought in the sales questionnaire, but the assessor calculated 6.16 cap rate, and they calculate on land size 6.1. So all these calculations help our position. 215 La Vérendrye, we're 5.74 to 5.01. Now, I disagree with a lot of Matt's or the city's adjustments that they made to our cap rate. And I don't want to spend time discussing each individual income approach for that. I believe some of them, they had lower repair maintenance. We went with site-specific repair maintenance, and he went with higher repair maintenance based on what a market would be. So I believe he adjusted to the repair maintenance. So on board, we agree on the cap rate. On the beach, he's slightly less. 100 Southview, he says unusable, he has none. And then city cap rates, he adds his 3 cap rates. So the city also has Corydon and Maryland in their cap rate study, and they also have McPhillips. So the first 3 on this page, they have, as well as the 3 at the bottom. So we did our calculations. And so then if we go to the last page, we reconcile now what our cap rate is, the 4th last column, what the city is, what the difference is. And now we compare with Altus cap rate for that age group. So we're like on McPhillips, if we were a new property here today, we're saying 5.25, and then there's 2 comparables, the city and ours. So the first 4 for newer properties, they built 2006 to 2015. So we're saying 5.25, and he's recalculated 479, 504, 507. So there's a dispute on that age group. But the next age group, so on Lang's side, he recalculated 6.1, but our cap rate for that age group is 5.5. Same as La Vérendrye, where cap rate for that group is 5.5, so we're off on that one. On Balmoral, we're both in the 6 calculations. We're 5.5 for our final. Maryland, we're both higher than what Altus' position is. Corydon, we're both in agreement to that. And 210 St. Mary's, we also agree to the 5.75. So aside from newer properties, the first 4, we're in virtual agreement, except maybe for one, on the cap rate for the other age groups. And you'll see that neither the city nor Altus have any cap rates for pre-1946. But I'm saying based on the actual cap rate comparables, we should be in agreement for anything from 1946 to 1999 based on our comparables. So that's my submission of cap rates.
Any questions on that cap rate, Matthew?
His cap rate study?
Yeah, any questions on the cap rate study? Or are you just going to do your rebuttal after?
I think I'll just do the rebuttal. Yeah.
Okay. Richard, do you have any questions on Altus's cap rate?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Jeff, do you have any questions on the Altus cap rate?
I have none, thank you.
You're good? Okay, we'll go to your rebuttal then for the city. And that will be the very top one, right? Rebuttal?
Yep, in the rebuttal folder.
And where it says city rebuttal. Okay,
Yeah, A&T rebuttal, the top one.
which one? The top one? Oh, the top one.
A&T rebuttal 2023 Altus cap rate study document version 2.
Rebuttal 2023. Okay. Matthew, when you're ready.
Okay,
Good.
thanks. So I'll try and summarize this.
I think Henry might have covered some of your stuff already.
It's a new strategy, I guess. It's interesting. I've never had it at the end before. Okay, so page 2, this is the same chart that Henry has, except for he has the Altus cap rate for age group, number of stories. There's also 3 properties that don't appear. There's Bertrand, Arden, and St. Mary's. 32 Arden was in his cap rate study, but it was restabilized, and then it was removed because there was no laundry. There was like $3,000 of laundry that wasn't included in just the last year. We kept that in, so we came up with 5 for that one. And you can see the other cap rate is 3.6, 4.77. So again, going to page 3, this is a newer building. We don't have newer buildings. This is just an example of where we differ in terms of how we stabilize 2390 McPhillips. I use the actual rent that they received on page 4. Henry ignored that and just went to the CMHC charts for 2005 up. So we don't agree on some ways that we stabilize. Most of the time it's in repair and maintenance, but because there's no new dwellings on this property docket, I'm not really going to dwell on it too much. I just bring it up because it just seems like there's a real divide in some of the manner in which we stabilize. Page 11, Corden. Again, this is one that we agree on. Maryland, 13 Maryland. You can see that I stabilized at 1,000 a unit, which takes into consideration the 2 most recent years. The property was renovated in 2013. There's going to be a dip in R&M years following the renovation. Then it ticked up for 2 years leading up to the sale to 1,000. That's what the purchaser would look at going forward. Altus stabilized all 4. You can see that on the next page, on page 14. Here's 885. Not a big difference on that one, but still I believe that the knowledgeable purchaser wouldn't go 885 per unit on the R&M. They'd go 1,000, weighing more heavily the 2 more recent years. 210 St. Mary's, again, difference in stabilized repair and maintenance. I use 745. Altus uses 388. I mean, you guys have been on the panel for a while. We've been doing this a while. I've done hundreds of properties with you. When do you ever see 388 a unit on the subject property side? Like, honestly, that's because Altus included years like 2016, which were less than $1,000. Now, is that year going to be included if 210 St. Mary's is being appealed? I don't think so. So I kicked out the high and the low and the pro forma, and I just kept the 3 years that were more normal. Still 745, still low, but a lot better than 388. And that swings the cap rate quite a bit. I mean, they were at 618 and we're at 571. So just a little difference like that can really swing the cap rate. So, like, I'm not trying to belabor this, but if we're looking at whose cap rates are more applicable, look at the reasonability of the repair and maintenance stabilization. Then there's a couple of properties on Balmoral that the I just include the sales mailer saying that the vendor indicated that the sales price was not based on the in-place net operating income. Therefore, there's a disconnect there. La Vérendrye, page 21, again, difference in how the repairs and maintenance are stabilized. I'll let you guys look at that. I know you're knowledgeable. You've gone through this before. Blank size unusable on page 23. 333 Ward, the famous 333 Ward, we actually agree on it.
Yeah.
At long last, only took 2 or 3 cycles.
Might be a little longer than that.
Yeah. And then Beach, again, difference in R&M. Altus is at 500 units. A newer build, is a newer build going to be assumed to operate at 500 a unit in perpetuity, or is 1,000 more reasonable? I mean, just use your experience. I know you guys have it. And that's about it without going on and on. Southview is just based on a pro forma. The last one on page 34. Pro formas aren't actuals. It has a 21% expense ratio on the pro forma. Altus stabilized at 26%. You don't see it. I've gone through enough mailers. I've done this for over a decade. I haven't seen it coming in our end like this. You don't see it on the Palin side either. So if we're looking at like basing, you know, if Altus is basing their cap rates off their stabilizations, then you should look at the R&M stabilization in your experience, how much it lines up with what they're seeing on the appellant side and in your experience, and then just weight it that way. I think our stabilizations are better. So in the Altus chart at the end, I believe our cap rates are more accurate than how they've stabilized. That's my report.
Henry, do you have any questions on the rebuttal?
No questions.
Richard?
No, we've heard this before and we've talked about it before. Thank you, Matthew.
Jeff, do you have any questions?
Thanks for the presentation. No questions.
I must say it's the closest I've ever seen both of you. It used to be back in the day we'd have 1.5 to 2% split between you guys. Now we're going for half points and agreeing.
Yeah, we
nice.
agree on the bunch, which is unusual. Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing well here, gentlemen. I figure another 10 years we'll have this ace. I've got no further questions on either of them. I think we've seen enough of these over the years.
Yeah.
I just like the way it's finally starting to come together. Oh, I guess I got to go over here now. That's number 7. That's done. Oh, I guess we've heard all the items scheduled for this hearing, and this hearing is now adjourned.
No, I got a rebuttal on the assessor's cap rate.
Oh, you got a rebuttal on his rebuttal?
No,
Oh,
on
right.
his cap rates.
That's
His
why I
cap
said
rates.
it. Got a rebuttal on his cap rates. I'm sorry. I missed it.
Yeah,
Okay.
same folder. It's the second file down.
Yeah, I got it here somewhere. This one here, rebuttal to the assessor's cap rate. Henry, rebuttal to the rebuttal.
No, rebuttal to his cap rate.
Yeah, to his cap rate.
The first one's 2390 McPhillips, a new property, and we have no new properties here today, so we're not going to spend much time on that. But they bought the property was below market rent, so we skip that. We can go to page 4. Assessor comparable 700 St. Mary's. We see property was bought with intention to renovate. Experiencing closed letter from property manager D7. Purchaser was first time buyer. The property was in rough shape. Previous owner was doing nothing for repair and maintenance. And I've asked Matt and the assessors if they have the actual revenue and expense to give for their evidence. They don't. So I would suggest that this cap rate, if they would actually give their revenue and expense, it would be a low rent, and it would be low repair maintenance. So we should throw that comparable out. The assessor comparable 32 Arden, there is laundry missing for 1 year, 2018. And then the property, the purchaser is advertising they have renovated the property. And that's for the municipal board order. It's improper to use cap rates when the purchaser intends to renovate. And the board had in that decision disallowed all of the assessor's cap rate comparables, but it did say that it would have to be significant renovations before it would disallow it. So that I guess they covered themselves by saying we're not going to always disallow when there's intention to renovate. We have to determine whether it was significant enough. Nevertheless, any property is where the renovated or right after purchase is something we have to question as to whether it's a proper cap rate to start with. Yeah, that'd be all. I have the letter from D7 on there, and I have the data on the renovation for 32 Art, and then the financial statements, etc., showing the 1 year missing on laundry. And that's my rebuttal. Thank you.
Matthew, any questions on that rebuttal?
No questions, thank you.
Richard, any questions on that last rebuttal?
I have none, thank you.
Jeff, any questions?
I have none, thanks.
And I have none. So gentlemen, we have heard all the items scheduled at this hearing, and this meeting is now adjourned.
Can we have a summary though on the cap rate?
Oh, would you like a summary on the whole thing or what? No,
Yeah,
I think
I
we'll
think
just,
the cap
Oh, you
rate
wanna-
only.
you want a summary on the cap rates?
Well, Matt went on his opinions on the cap rate, and I'd like to
Okay, you know what,
talk
Henry,
about that a little bit.
we're gonna come back just for you. I don't, as long as the clerk's still there.
I'm still here.
Okay, we're still live. Okay, Henry, go ahead with your
Well, Matt
summation.
can go first if he wants to do a summation.
Matthew, did you want to do a summation on the cap rates?
Just go through the properties, look at the R&M amounts, compare them to what you see on the subject property side when they're appeal, and ask yourself, is this reasonable? That's my summation.
Thank you, Matthew. Henry?
Yes, so he's saying to look at the repair maintenance, but we go site specific, and like here today, we had some properties with low repair maintenance. We went with the low repair maintenance. And if they're higher, we go higher, and with the lower, we do go lower. I have provided as evidence properties that had only $500 repair maintenance this year. And I was hoping Matt would be the assessor, say, hey, we do have some low. When they're low, I stabilize it low. I tell everybody in our office that when they have low repair maintenance, you cannot plug in a higher figure. If they're operating at $500 a suite, that's what you have to put in. So we go site-specific repair maintenance. And then what he's saying, we should look at that, but we're site-specific, and we're site-specific each and every time we've come here. Non-board, yeah, we do come to an agreement with all our competition. We're also going 5.5 cap rate on that one because the purchaser was saying they bought it like around 5.5, 5.75. So I believe we were quite conservative when we came to the low fives, and we got to an agreement on that. So that's all I have to say in the summation.
Okay. Gentlemen, are we all concluded now?
Yep.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, we have heard all the evidence scheduled for this hearing, and this meeting is now adjourned. Shut it down, please.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.